Today, our brief yet exciting adventure begins with decimals on a number line. So here is the gist. Maybe you'll get it today, maybe you won't. Decimals on a number line. And maybe we should start with this. Here is my number line. And I have a 0 here. And it goes to a 1 right here. And I have this. And I asked you, boys and girls, and children of all ages, this point right here, what decimal is that? What decimal is that? As the hands go flying up. What decimal is that? Wow, what is going on here? I'm going to guess some of you would get this. The majority of you probably not. And it all goes to prove a very valuable decimal point here. Victoria?
0.3?
0.3 would be probably one of the most common answers, but can I tell you that is incorrect? Sam? 0.60? Are you sure? Come on, Sam, if you're going to sing some boldly. Andrew?
0.4?
0.4. Colin?
0.5.
0.5. Tyler?
0.3.
0.3. All right, let's just stop with the guessing. I'll let you go.
0.6.
0.6 is actually the right answer, so you kind of had it there. Here is the point that I was making, part of the pun. Okay? Decimals only work, well, I mean, for the most part, decimals only work when you cut things into tenths, because that's what the first decimal place is tenths. So this doesn't work because I did not cut this number line into tenths, I have it cut into fifths. Now maybe you can do the translation from fifths into tenths, maybe you can, it doesn't matter. But you won't have to, but I just wanted to show you the fact that this is, the line must, for you to do this, you must be cut into tenths or hundreds or whatever it is. Into tenths or 100ths, whatever. Either way, whatever works there. Now, what you could have done, and I don't know how Trevor did this here, but what he could have thought was this. Well, it's cut into fifths. If I take each fifth and cut it in half, guess what I have? Oh boy. I cut each fifth in half. Now I've actually cut the line into tenths, or 10 equal pieces. And this line is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tenths of the way over. So you can do it if it's cut into tenths. Or maybe Trevor said, well, that dot was what fraction of the way over? It was 3/5 of the way over. And then maybe you could have changed that into tenths. 3/5, have we done this? 3/5 is how many tenths? 5 times what is 10? 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. So 6 tenths is 6 tenths. Okay? Fortunately for you, one of the only times you're ever going to use tenths on a number line is... Victoria?
In our math lesson?
No, not just in math. When you use the metric system. Okay? Your metric ruler, centimeters, millimeters. A centimeter is 1/10. Well, actually, a centimeter is a millimeter is a tenth of a centimeter. Let's just go with that right there. Okay, and that's why you never use fractions with the metric system. You're always going to use decimals because they're so much easier to use. And that's what makes the other system that much harder, is because the other system always uses fractions. Eighths, quarters, halves. Those are way confusing things. So the point being made here is this. In order for you to use decimals on a number line, it must be cut into tenths or hundredths. But for me to sit there and cut that into hundreds would be an awful big thing. Otherwise, for right now, you can't do that. Good. That's all that point was. Now, here is for the thing that's going to rock your world. Take out your blank, or your notes under fractions, sorry. Take out your notes under fractions. And guess what today is? Today is our short discussion about division by fractions. And this is always where I like to pause and reflect and see if I can get you to go home and fool your parents. Because if I asked you what 10 divided by 1/2 is, 10 divided by half is, see, and that's why you'll fool your parents. Let's take a look. What 10 divided by 1/2? Okay, what you're asking is this. Ladies and gentlemen. By the way, 10 divided by 2 is 5, so it probably stands to reason that 10 divided by half is not. What you're asking somebody when you do division, you're saying, how many halves can I get out of 10? Well, if that's the case, I need to cut all of these in half. And how many halves do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. How many halves are in 10? There are 20 halves. There are 20 halves. Just like this. If you have a dollar bill, $1 bill, and you divide it by quarters, a quarter is 1/4 of a dollar, how many quarters are in a dollar bill? 4. Are there not 4 quarters in a dollar? Or, well here, let's do something hard. What if I did, I don't know if I can do this pictorially. What is 2 1/2 divided by 3/4? Let's try to sketch the picture. I'm not sure. I am going out on some sort of a limb here to see if this will work. I have 2 whole things, right? And I have a half of another. Now, because I'm cutting it into 3/4, I'm going to split everything into fourths so I can see. Because I want everything to be half is 2/4. So how many 3/4 can I take out of that? Well, let's see. Here's 1, 2, 3. There's 1 3/4 I can take out of that. Let me change colors so you can see this. Let's go this. There's 1, 2, 3. There's a second 3/4 I can take out. And then there is 1, 2, 3. There's a third 3/4. And then what do I have left? I have a 4th left here, right? I have 3 whole things, but you have to think about this. I'm supposed to see how many 3/4 I can take out of this. If I have 1 out of my 3/4, what fraction is 1/4 out of 3/4? Wait, let me see. I know you, by the way, if you are completely lost or confused, don't worry, because I will clear this all up. It's not a matter of you understanding this, it's just going to be a matter of you doing it. So here, I want to know what fraction, what part of, oh, you can take out your fraction circles. Oh, forget it, don't. Just look at my thing here. I have 3/4. Here's my 3/4, and I have 1 of them. What fraction is this? How many pieces do I have?
3.
And how many are shaded in?
1.
1/3. 2 1/2 divided by 3/4 is 1 1/3. And you're going to say, what?
What?
Now, lest all of that confuses you, let me just give you the basic gist of this thing. Okay. And we're just going to write it down because I don't want to go any farther with all that because mess yourself up here. Write down these in great big bold letters. 2 divide by a fraction comma 2 divide by a fraction, you multiply by its reciprocal. We've done reciprocals, right? Okay, good. This is the big hitter, ladies and gentlemen. This is all you need to know. Everything I just went through, that was just kind of trying to get you to see the pictures. This is the how-to seminar that all you need to know is to do that. Okay, let's go back to the problem. Wait, have we multiplied mixed numbers together?
Yeah, probably. No.
Well, let's go back to the problem I gave you. 10 divided by 1/2. 10 divided by half is the same thing as 10 multiplied by this reciprocal. What is 10 times 2 over 1? 20. Right? Because you put this over 1, 10 over 2. Or the whole dollar thing. 1 divided by 1/4. How many quarters are in a dollar? Same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. What is 1 over 1 times 4 over 1? 4. I guess I can't really do that one. We haven't done. Have we done? Let me see what else they give you. Do they give us hard ones? Oh, they do. How are we supposed to do that? Oh, go write down this problem. This is one. Write down this story problem. The diameter of a penny is 3/4 of an inch. How many pennies side by side would be 6 inches long? How many pennies 3/4 of an inch would be 6 inches long? Ooh, it's taking forever. Now the first thing obviously one would do in this is do what? See if I change you at all, Victoria.
Draw a circle.
Yes, but more than that.
Drop. Right there.
I'll sketch it out a little bit here. No, you're going to have to write the problem. How long do I want? I want a line 6 inches long, right? I want this to be 6 inches long, and what am I doing? I want to know how many pennies I would lay there. So the question is, what type of problem is this? Now, again, here is a strategy for you to use, Max Homerding. Fractions always confuse people just because they're not whole numbers. So if you can figure out what to do if it was a whole number, you do the same thing if it was a fraction. If every penny was 2 inches long, how many would you lay side by side and get 6 inches? Zach? 3. What do you do with 6 and 2 to get 3? Divide it. So Zach said if the penny was 2 inches long, if I take 6 divided by 2, I get 3. That's my answer. Well, every penny is not 2 inches long. Every penny is.
3/4.
So instead of 2, I have to use 6 divided by 3/4 and see what that answer is. And now, magically, because you know how to divide by a fraction, you can do this. How do I divide by 3/4? I multiply by 4/3. By the way, please get it in your head, ladies and gentlemen. It is always the fraction you are dividing by that gets flipped. It's always the second thing that gets flipped. You will never flip this first thing. It's always the second. By the way, what is 6 times 4/3? 24 thirds, which happens to be 8. You would take 8 pennies. Hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully that wasn't too over the top. But don't worry, you will have plenty of time to get confused later on. Wasn't that exciting? Again,